by the state for the reuse of that. We're hoping that it's going to enhance the commercial industrial base of the town because, again, it's 1 mile off of Route 93, we're on 62, minimal impact on neighborhoods, and hopefully we're going to benefit significantly as far as the tax dollars that can be generated.
Ma'am,
Okay.
ma'am, to answer your question, May 5th, 1998, a very expensive report from the Project Management Group Incorporated that the town paid for. Convert Bachelor to a police station. 2 years ago, $5,192,000.
I'm sure that's gone up in price.
Oh. Now, if you like, Eddie can give you a briefing as to why.
Okay. Yes, I wouldn't mind to hear that, but I also was going, where I was going with the John T. Berry. Now we have land in back of the Murphy Center. Okay. Maybe that can be rezoned for the benefit of the town too. If we're going to go in that direction, in that area of town, it is a plot.
That was a thought, and that was discussed at F.U.M.P at great length. There was discussions as one of the scenarios, again, of putting the town hall at the bachelor school in combination with school administration, which is still on the table. And as one part of the scenario, as you saw this evening, was to sell that particular parcel, which is approximately 9-point-some-odd acres, rezone it and sell it for the very same reasons that we're hoping to develop out there. And again, that's still on the table if town hall gets moved. But again, there's a cost associated with doing that. And again, now we're talking about putting the police station there because it's more cost effective. We still need the meeting space. We still may not move town hall. Town hall functions very well where it is.
Instead of having 2 new facilities, it's just, you know, and
Right.
again, we need the 2 primary is the school and police. I think everybody agrees with that. Everybody disagrees with that concept. But if we're going to build, do we have to build 2 new facilities? Do we have to maintain 2 new facilities down in the future? Okay. These are just thoughts that I have as a taxpayer, as a mother of the bachelor, you know, I have a couple of children in the bachelor school. They're never going to see a new school. You know, this has been 10 years that we've been discussing this school. And I hope it gets done for the future of the children in this town. And I still support the new school very much. But I just wanted to get a scenario of the bachelor being used as a police and town hall combination, keeping the preservation of the historical significance of that building, and housing the administration, school administration people in the
I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll ask Lieutenant Nolan to address the issue as to what was presented to F.U.M.P as to why it isn't necessarily feasible to have a police station in combination with another public facility. Okay, and I think that will address probably why we didn't go in that direction. Lieutenant Nolan.
Thank you, Steve. Some of the issues that have been brought to our attention by 3 different architectural firms over the last decade, and then the last study that was done in 1998, is that certainly you can convert any building in this community into a police station. It all depends upon how much money you want to pour into that kind of renovation project. So anything is feasible. However, what is the most cost-effective alternative? And that became our bottom line on the police station building committee. And I believe Eddie Barletta, as our representative on the F.U.M.P, carried that thought over to the F.U.M.P committee. It's been said that there is 22,000 square feet in the bachelor school. The architects who have worked with us have advised us that the 1950s addition on that school could be utilized for administrative offices, training facilities, and personnel space in that building. But according to the federal standards and the state building codes that are concerned with prisoner housing and communications in the 911 operations center, it cannot be utilized, cannot be built or renovated into that bachelor school footprint as it exists. So it would require an addition or an annex built onto the annex to house your police operations so that they would be able to comply with and meet those new standards. Just off the top of my head, I jotted down a couple of things. One of the architects said that the standards required for that operations center are akin to the standards required to build a hospital. You're looking at biohazard and chemical hazard, as well as other explosive hazards that have to be housed and taken care of within that facility. Communication centers have to be what they call target hardened. They're going to be located within the center of that of that structure, so it has some protection from some outside threat. So you want to put some kind of a barrier between that outside threat and that communication center for very obvious reasons. Jail cells, the ceilings have to be 10 feet high. And again, I think that's an obvious reason. It just goes on and on and on, the standards that are required. And if we were to renovate at the existing police facility, all those new standards have to be incorporated there. So therefore, the same thing at the batch. So the cheaper alternative would be to build an annex, and the annex by itself is around $3.6 million. And then adding on or renovating the existing 50s per wing of the bachelor school is some more money. So it's a very expensive
I
project.
look at some other scenarios, Lieutenant. I appreciate the answers, but running the fact of maintaining this police station now, offset maybe the sale of that land at the cost of the renovation of that. There's all scenarios that you can play, and I don't disagree. I mean, those things that you put out are very valid, and I think I look at the batch as a shell right now, totally empty building. Nobody's occupying it. We have to envision who's going to occupy it, who's best suited, and how physically responsible as a town for putting that landlord, with a landlord in this building, who's going to be in it. And I know you spent a lot of hours and a lot of time, but I guess I'm just.
There's no doubt that there's a couple of new facilities that are going to be coming online that will have to be maintained and heated and lighted and so on and so forth. But right now we own the bachelor school, and we're still doing it now. So yes, we're going to put a new elementary school to replace that online. However, we believe that the operation of that new elementary school, in combination with the renovation of the bachelor school for additional municipal purposes, will help minimize those costs. Right now, the efficiencies that can be obtained through new construction, as far as heat and light and so those sorts of things, are significant when compared to a 1918 and 1949 structure, which has been updated over the years, and windows have been replaced and things like that. Everything we could do has been done. But yes, we'll have to maintain them, but we're maintaining them now. As far as expanding, we need some expanded space for the fire department. Again, it was thought, and again, in the fire department's long-range plan, they were looking for a west side station. That's not included in this plan, in the long-range plan, because again, in F.U.M.P's estimation at this particular time, with all of the precautions that have been taken in new construction in relation to sprinkler systems and suppression equipment, the suppression equipment that have to be installed in new construction, there's less need for the apparatus to go out. I mean, we still have a need as far as the ambulance services. We still have some hazardous material issues that have to be dealt with and things of that nature. But we're having fewer and fewer, you look at it, fewer and fewer calls when it comes to the boxes being pulled because there's a fire in a home. And that's because of the codes and the requirements that have changed. So the need necessarily, we felt, wasn't there to go and include in this plan a new west side station, but expand it to the public safety facility. Let's take another question here.
Very briefly, Marie, there's one other thing that we didn't include in this, but that's if I'm reading you correctly, I think one of your concerns is the more buildings we add to the town rolls, the more the overall maintenance cost that the town has to pay. One of them. There's something else to consider, and I'll explain in a second why we didn't. If we do choose to move Town Hall to the batch, which is one of the two options that we've talked about, that opens the Murphy Center. If an overriding concern of the majority of people in town is how many public buildings we're maintaining, and I think this goes back to part of your question as well in the back there, that may very well be the building to raise. The reason we didn't include that in our proposal right now is there was a feeling of, it's a reasonable building, it's relatively tight, let's not destroy anything we don't have to. But if we determine over the next couple years as we go forward, hopefully this will go forward, we could consider frankly tearing that building down, or renting it, or doing something so that other people are maintaining it.
Yes, sir.
Chris Connor, 53 Lenore. So one of the tenants for the batch element that's been mentioned a couple of times is school administration. So there are other school-related administrative facilities. I imagine which move into the batch element. What ends up being the net benefit to the middle school or any other schools in terms of classroom size? Do we pick up a few classrooms here and there from that movement?
The entire school administration is currently housed in in the middle school. So, I mean, if someone on the school building committee would like to address this.
I think in total, in looking at the middle school, I think we picked up about 3 classrooms. That would be it. But if the administration were to move over there, now we're looking at increased overhead costs too.
But in terms of, housing students, which.
It's not a big benefit.
Approximately
But it's,
three
it
classes.
is something, it's not like we're taking student space away to move, right?
No, but it,
Every classroom helps.
every
It
classroom will
helps a little
help.
bit. Right, 3 classrooms, we're talking, 3 classrooms right now, gee, that would help, anyway.
Dan Mills, 5 Green Meadow Drive. Just a couple square footages I don't think she got asked. One was on school administration. What's the need for the school administration?
What's that determined to be, was it somewhere around 9,600?
8 to 9.
Yeah, 8 to 9,000 square feet. That was determined.
In town hall?
Hall was,
Problem is, whatever the Murphy Center is, that's the one data point we don't have.
no,
this
but
doesn't
what
use
we're
the
talking
entire-
about,
doesn't
we
use
were
the
talking
entire-
about renovating the back of the school, so if there's 22,000 square feet there, town hall would take up the balance. We were talking about any,
But what do they need?
changing the
What do
footprint.
they need? It's not all used in the Murphy Center, right?
Murphy Center
yes,
is,
it is.
Murphy Center
Yeah,
is
yeah.
fully
It's
utilized.
tough.
There is consideration right now, or has been consideration in the past. And I would assume going into the future of the gymnasium that's in the Murphy.
That's currently used for recreational purposes and some meeting space, the old gymnasium lunch area of what was the school, the Murphy School is now the Murphy Center, is currently being utilized for recreational purposes and some meeting space. What we have a significant need for is meeting space, community meeting space for all the committees that we have and other community groups needing space.
There aren't many nights during the week that there is a meeting room in town, or sometimes a part that isn't.
Which is why when we're looking in this particular scenario, we would utilize, that's why part of the plan would be to retain the Murphy Center for both, recreation, cultural, youth center type things, and public meeting space to pick up the slack that we need if they were to move to the Bachelor School site. Conversely, if it stays where it is, and we remove the annex from the Bachelor School, there would be additional space that the school administration would not need, but could be utilized for the same purpose, to meet the needs of the community. So, Mrs. Dingman.
Carol Dignan, Secretary. I've been going to a lot of different meetings and asking a lot of questions, and I first of all want to thank everybody that's on the F.U.M.P committee, because I have asked so many questions, and everyone has answered or found the answer to everything that I have asked, and I really commend the work that you've done. You donate your time, and bravo. I think you've done a lot of work. I've done, contracted for things in my own home, and it's just been a nightmare to put a little porch on. So I just, and I am very much for this new school. I was horrified last week. I went to the Batchelder Parents Organization. We appropriated $280 to buy screens for the classrooms. The Parents Organization is holding bake sales to buy screens for classrooms that do not have screens. The children are sitting in very hot classrooms. They'll soon be very freezing classrooms. They all have maintenance budgets. They max out their maintenance budgets in all the schools.
Portables aren't much better, but.
Yeah, the portables aren't much better. There's no plumbing. It's horrendous that we put our children to school there. The teachers that work there are wonderful teachers. They have worked very hard over the last 6 years to bring the scores for MCAS to a place where everyone in this town can be very proud of the work they have done. If I were a teacher in that school, I would be saying, I can write my own ticket. I'll go to a town that has a state-of-the-art facility, and I'm going to go work there where they're going to appreciate the work that I do. I think, and I think the turnover at the batch might be reflecting that there is an issue. I think we are employers. We hire these people to come to work every day to teach our children. We have to provide them a safe
environment to do that. The same with